Alabama fans, what is going on? Chris Daughtery here. This is the Alabama Football Report. Kalen DeBoer and the Alabama Crimson Tide have landed their sixth commit in the past 3 weeks or so here in Tuscaloosa. This time it's three-star defensive lineman London Simmons. He committed on Saturday after visiting this past weekend for an official visit. Now, we've talked about Simmons a little bit on the show. He is a lower-ranked recruit. I think On3 has him at like 599 overall or something like that. He is a three-star defensive lineman, so I know there's going to be some stuff in the comments section about that. That's okay. That's fine, whatever. But this is a kid that hasn't been on the radar for both colleges and recruiting sites for a long time, or for that long. He was offered for Alabama back in April. He went to their camp, showed out on the defensive line doing drills and whatnot. Freddie Roach really liked what he saw from him, and I'll continue to say this. I think he's a player that can be a diamond in the rough for Alabama. I really like what I see from his film, and he's lost 40 pounds now. He played last year, his junior season, at about 345 pounds. He weighed in back at that camp at 305 pounds. So he lost a lot of weight. He's still going to be one of those agile defensive linemen that you really like along the defensive line. And shoot, at 345 pounds, he was still able to rack up 25 tackles for loss and 15 sacks in his junior season. So I really like what Alabama's going to get out of London Simmons. And I think coming in, getting in that weight room and getting with Freddie Roach, I think he's going to continue to just become a better and better player, as his senior year goes on and into, his freshman year and so forth at Alabama. So Alabama has been super hot on the recruiting trail lately. 6 commits in the past 3 weeks. I mean, it is what it is. Go ahead and like the video today. More likes equals more commitments for Alabama. I don't make the rules. Science is science. It is what it is, guys. So make sure you like today's video right now so Alabama stays hot on the recruiting trail. This is what the 2025 recruiting class looks like for Alabama right now. You got 10 guys right here who have been committed for a decent amount of time. Darrell Duke Johnson, 5-star linebacker. Derek Smith, 4-star safety. Antonio Coleman, the only other defensive lineman in this class for Alabama. Anthony Rogers, the only running back for Alabama in this class. Jaden Harmon, 4-star linebacker. He's been really instrumental as well on the recruiting trail, getting in the comments, taking pictures with guys when he's on his visits as well. Miles Johnson, 3-star linebacker. Zamir Smith, 4-star athlete. He's being recruited as a DB. Abdul Sanders Jr., a guy that I really, really like. He's a 4-star linebacker. Latsier Brooks, the only wide receiver as well for Alabama. We'll talk about some more wide receivers later in today's show as well, so stay tuned for that. Luke Metz, coming off an official visit to Georgia, but still absolutely locked in with Alabama. Then you've got the 6 new guys who have come in the past, 3 weeks. Keelan Russell was the first one from those official visits to jump on board. 4-star quarterback, definitely in that 5-star, area. By the time December rolls around, Chuck McDonald, 4-star corner from Mater Dei High School. Michael Carroll committed last week, 4-star interior offensive lineman, as well as Mal Waldrip, a 3-star interior offensive lineman. He's been playing tackle, but I think Alabama really likes him at the interior of the offensive line. And then Alex Asparuoff, he's ranked about the number 3 punter in this class. They don't really rank punters, but from the Coles kicking site that we were talking about yesterday, he had him ranked as the number 3 punter and a 5-star punter when it comes to, just ranking punters. He's in that 5-star category for punters. And then the newest guy, London Simmons, 3-star defensive lineman. There is an official prediction coming up here, though. BamaOnLine has placed official predictions for Alabama to land 4-star offensive tackle Jackson Lloyd. This is a guy that Alabama has been going after for a while. He was the first offer from the Kalen DeBoer era offered to these 2025 guys So Alabama, this Kalen DeBoer staff has really liked him from the jump. He's a guy that is a pretty good athlete, plays 3 different sports, baseball, basketball, as well as football. And when you look at his recruiting rankings, they are very different from one another. 247 Sports has him as a 4-star, number 146 overall, the number 16 offensive tackle, and the number 13 player from the state of California. But On3 likes him a whole lot more than a lot of other of these recruiting sites. They've got him as a 4-star, number 29 overall, so definitely in that 5-star range, once December rolls around. They've also got him as the number 6 offensive tackle in this class and the number 1 player from the state of California. The 2 teams that it seems like are, the leaders in his recruitment are Alabama and Ohio State. So I want you guys to get in the comments right now. It is the pinned comment on today's show. Who's going to land Jackson Lloyd? I think it's going to come pretty soon, if not this week, most likely next week. Type A for Alabama or O for Ohio State. Once again, it is the pinned comment. So if that ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and go vote. Caleb Edwards is a 4-star tight end coming in for an official visit today for the next 3 days, along with another wide receiver we will talk about. He's number 178 overall, the number 8 tight end, and the number 16 player from the state of California. Alabama's got a couple tight ends that they've been looking at in this 2025 class. No commitments yet at the position. You've got Andrew Olish, Nick Townsend, Marshall Pritchett, a UNC commit who came in for an official visit as well this past weekend. And when it comes to Edwards, his body type and his athleticism really reminds me a lot of C.J. Dupree when it comes to a guy that Alabama already has on campus right now. So I really like that from him. He forces a lot of missed tackles. He's a really, really big dude, 6'6", 225 pounds. So when it comes to that tight end position, I really like the outlook that Caleb Edwards has. And we'll see what happens in his recruitment and, what tight end Alabama's going to get in this recruiting class. Make sure you guys are subscribed right here to the Alabama Football Report. We've got a lot of stuff on tap for you guys. Recruiting mainly right now, but once we get into the season, we'll be doing watch parties for you guys. So make sure you guys are subscribed and turn those notifications on so you don't miss anything. The next guy coming in for an official visit today as well, Kaliq Lockett. He is a 5-star wide receiver. Alabama only plans on taking either 2 or 3 receivers in this class. We talked about him earlier. They've already got Latsier Brooks locked in this 2025 class. But, man, Kaliq Lockett is a really, really good player, the number 3 wide receiver in this class, and the number 6 player from the state of Texas. And that's really big being from Texas because the only reason he decided to take a visit to Alabama was because of the commitment of Keelan Russell. They're from the same hometown. They don't go to the same high school, but they are from the same hometown. And after Keelan Russell committed to Alabama, Lockett was like, man, I think I need to get on, this hype train and see what Alabama's really about. He's taken visits to LSU, Texas A&M. He was at Florida State this past weekend. He's going to be at Alabama today for the next 3 days, and then he's going to round out his recruiting trips to Texas on June 21st. A really big target for Alabama. I think he's going to be one of those guys that, don't necessarily know when he's going to commit quite yet, when he's going to make that decision. But so far in his recruitment, he says everybody's equal out of those 5 teams. So we'll see what happens. He's 6'2", 175, and did a lot last year, about 1,300 yards through the air on 59 catches and 13 touchdowns. So one of the top players in this recruiting class, and especially a top wide receiver. The next 2 wide receivers that we're going to talk about are coming up on official visits this weekend. First one on the list, Caleb Cunningham, another 5-star wide receiver, number 13 overall, number 2 wide receiver in this class, and the number 1 player from the state of Mississippi. And we don't really know how he's feeling when it comes to, who's leading and everything like that. These are the official visits that he has taken and are going to take. He went to Auburn back on May 31st, Florida on June 7th. Just wrapped up an official visit with Tennessee this past weekend. He'll be at Alabama this weekend. And this is also a kid who has been to a lot of schools. He's already taken 50 visits, which is just absolutely insane to me that the kid can get around. Now, before his Florida visit this past weekend, 2 weeks ago, he told Steve Wilfong that Auburn was his leader so far, but that was just, he took that one official visit to Auburn and then said Auburn was a leader. So, a lot of things have changed probably in his mind and hopefully are going to change as well. He's also told On 3 that he plans on leaving the state of Mississippi. So Ole Miss, Mississippi State were really big, going hard after him, the first couple of weeks in his recruitment. So if that is true, that's a really big thing for Alabama, and Alabama does get the last crack at his recruitment on June 21st. So you know what they're going to do? They're going to roll out the red carpet for this guy because he's a massive target in this 2025 recruiting class. So if you guys want Caleb Cunningham to commit to the Alabama Crimson Tide, make sure you guys like today's video. Said it at the beginning of the show. Likes equals commitments. Don't argue with me. You can argue with science. It is what it is. Last time we did this, Alabama got 2 more commitments, so make sure you like today's video right now. The last guy we're going to talk about, Derek Meadows, another wide receiver coming in for an official visit this weekend. He's a 4-star recruit in this 2025 class, number 62 overall per the 247 Sports Composite rankings, the number 9 wide receiver and the number 1 player from the state of Nevada. And he's very, very fast. He got first in the 300-meter hurdles in the Nevada 5A state championships. He was a part of the team that won first in the 4x400, and he's also ran a 21.74 second 20-meter dash. So a guy that can really book it. He's 6'5", 200 pounds. So another guy you could possibly put out on the outside. He's got that jump ball ability. He's got pretty solid footwork. It's something that I appreciate a lot that some wide receivers do is when they put blocking highlights on their highlight tapes. Alabama is a school that has always liked wide receivers to, be physical, and when somebody else has the ball, do your part and block on the outside. So I really appreciate that from Derek Meadows. The official visits that he has taken, the top 5 schools for him. He was back in Michigan on May 31st, Georgia on June 7th, Notre Dame on June 14th. LSU is going to be a midweek starting tomorrow, and then he'll wrap up everything at Alabama on June 22nd. So if Alabama's only going after another 2 wide receivers max in this class, let me know who is the most likely to commit. Do you think it's going to be Kaliq Lockett? Type KL in the comment section for me. Caleb Cunningham, type CC. Or if you think it's going to be Derek Meadows, type DM right now in the comment section.